Hello everybody, it's Hannah and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a full face using all of my old favorites. So I went in like all my drawers, pulled out everything that has lasted through my declutters that I knew I used to love but I haven't been using lately the last couple months. The last couple months I've been pretty much just sticking with the same routine, trying to pan items and not really branching out. So I wanted to go back into my collection, pick out a bunch of things that I used to love a lot more and kind of revisit them and then see if they still perform the same way that I remember, because they were my favorites at some point. So I really hope you guys enjoy the video and let's get into it. So for my primer, I always used to go in with this MAC Fix Plus. This is actually my first like full-size MAC Fix Plus that I own. I used to buy like a bunch of the minis all the time because this is super expensive, but I was able to get this one on a sale. I think it's like for the Ulta's 21 Days of Beauty a couple of weeks or months ago now at this point, but I was able to get this, and you can see I did use a ton of this one, but I have gone through plenty of minis before. So I just used to use this as my primer because it is a little bit sticky and I do love the like tackiness that it gives to my skin. So let me go in with this, and you can see it's definitely like dusty on the top. All right, we're all clean now, but yeah, let me go ahead and go with this. I like love the smell of MAC Fix Plus. It's so nostalgic to me for some reason. I think that it smells so good. And then I'm just gonna kind of rub this, buff it into my skin. I did spray quite a lot because I wanted to leave my skin feeling pretty hydrated, and I think it feels pretty good. Gives a nice glow to my skin. Now we're gonna go in with my foundation and concealer. So one that I used to use all the time is this Too Faced Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer. I'm in the shade Swan, and this I've had for forever. It's a really big container, but I did use a lot of this, and I used to use this for like when I would do cut creases. I would use it on my under eyes. I always liked how the finish came out. So it's very bright, actually, really yellow too. All right, we'll see how this looks. I think this might be too light. I don't know. I can't believe I used to use this shade, and I don't even have any like tan on or anything like that. But then for my foundation, I guess before I start putting it on, this is the Essence Fresh and Fit Awake Makeup Healthy Glow foundation. I've actually gone through an entire bottle of this before in the shade number 20 Fresh Nude. This just has the most beautiful finish, and this color match for me, like I always remember it being like so perfect once it's blended out. Obviously right now it looks a little bit crazy, but it just has such nice coverage, and I remember that it would always like wear really well because I would wear this to work and I'd be like sweating at work because I used to work at a like an ice cream store. So over the summer it would get really hot and super busy, so I'd be like running around all over the place. But this was like my go-to foundation, so much so that I even used it up, and I don't think I've like ever used up a foundation before, so like that's when you really know. But I'm just gonna take this little IT Cosmetics brush and kind of buff everything out, and you can see it just blends into my skin so nicely. Like I just love this color. And then hopefully the concealer doesn't look crazy. I mean, definitely brightening, but it is blending out. I'm gonna finish buffing this out and I'll be right back. Okay, so as I'm blending this out, I don't know if you'll be able to tell in the camera, but it's looking a little bit cakey around my nose. Although the more that it settles, the more it's kind of blending out a little bit better. So we'll see. Also, I remember like sometimes my makeup would be looking a little bit weird, and then I would set with powder and it would look better. So hopefully after I set with powder and add everything, it looks a little bit better. I feel like I'm a little yellow looking, but it's not too bad. Now that it's all blended out, I feel like it's not looking too bad anymore, but I will go in now with my powder. So this is the Lawless Loose Setting Powder in Classic Translucent. You can see I've used a ton of this. I think this is just the mini because the full size was like really huge. So I was like, I'm just gonna test this out for now. It's a talc-free powder. It doesn't have a sifter that closes, so it does kind of get everywhere, but I do like it. So I'm gonna take a little bit on my brush, and I kind of like to like smooth it out and like break it up a little bit because it is a bit of like a, it's kind of like the Laura Mercier powder where it's a little bit thicker, but then as you blend it out, then it's nice and fine. And then I'm just gonna tap out any creases around my eyes and then go in with this powder. I think the like main thing right now that's making me say that like I don't absolutely love it is that it is just more full coverage than I'm used to. Like the past couple of months, I've not even been wearing foundation. Sometimes I haven't even been wearing concealer. I would just put a little bit of like a pigmented powder on my under eyes, like a pressed powder. So I think I'm just like not used to seeing myself with this much face makeup on, but it does look nice, definitely. Yeah, I don't know, just around my nose, I feel like over here, like on the sides, it does just look a little bit cakey, but hopefully with setting spray, it'll kind of blend everything out a little bit more. I'm just gonna do what I normally do, what I've always done is just take a little bit of the loose powder that's left in the lid and just set around my face. For bronzer, I actually used this in my last video. This is the Kiko Milano Ocean Feel Bronzer in 01 Warm Honey. I don't have that many bronzers in my collection anymore because I've been working on going through them, but this is an old favorite. It has like, it's like a baked bronzer, so it has like a domed top, but you can see I've actually flattened it out quite a bit because I used this like every single day. Like I would use this with like a Becca bronzer. I used up the whole Becca bronzer, and then I would use this with my Buxom bronzer. I used up the entire Buxom bronzer. It's like I've used this with other stuff so often, and I still have so much product, so like you can't really tell, but I've like used up full other bronzers like while I've also been using this. And I used it the other day. Like I used it once before I filmed my last video, and then I used it in that video, and I'm just like, I don't know, I just really like how this bronzer looks on me. I think it's such a nice color and it complements my skin tone really well, and it just brings back so much life to my skin. So I think I'm just gonna leave it at this. I can always add a little bit more afterwards at the end, but I'm just gonna leave it at this for now. There's like dust flying around from my brush. But yeah, I think that that looks pretty good. Then for blush, this was like my #1 favorite blush for so long, probably for like almost a year. This is the Ciate London Date Night blush. This is, I don't know what the actual name of like the blush like line is, but it's these ones. I think it's like the Marbled Light ones. And this is such a pretty color. It's like a satiny terracotta, but then it also has this like shimmery golden vein running through it. Just take a big kind of brush like this and just like swirl everything and then pop that on my cheeks. And moving on to highlight, one of my all-time favorite highlighters from back in the day is this MAC Double Gleam. This is so pretty. You can see I have a pretty decent dip over in the center. And this one I feel like was pretty popular back in the day. It's like one of those kind of icy gold highlights, but it's such a smooth formula and it's so pretty. It's not glittery. It just gives you that amazing kind of metallic shine, and I love that. So I'm just going to pop this over the blush, which I think looks so pretty. Like, come on, that was like barely putting any on, and look how pretty that looks. Then I just wiped off my lips, like the foundation off my lips, but before we move on, I'm gonna put on a little bit of my favorite lip product. This is the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip. I've talked about this like so many times on my channel in the past, I think. You can see I've used up almost the entire thing. This is so amazing. This is in the shade Buttered Rum. I think this was in their holiday collection from, I don't know, I don't remember if it was last year or if it was from the year before, but it came with like this one and 2 other ones. And then since then they've released them individually, and I have quite a few of them. I've been favoring like my Dior lip glow that I have because that was like new. I have like my Tower 28 glosses that are in my project pan as well. My Animal Crossing ColourPop lip crayon that I've been favoring as well. So I haven't really been using this one as much, but I actually wore it yesterday and I was like, oh my god, like why did I stop wearing this? Because it's so pretty. This shade specifically, like you can see I'm pretty sure it was like this whole thing, and I literally just have this little tiny bit left, but it's just so pretty. Like, look at that. This is just like my dream shade for my lips. It really is like my lips but better, and it has a beautiful shine. It's long wearing because it's a little bit thicker, but it's not sticky. It's like a very hydrating formula. So I absolutely love it. I think it looks so pretty. I think it looks so good. I'm actually really liking how my skin is looking. It doesn't look very cakey or dry at all anymore once everything is kind of settled in. And then it's gonna look even better once I use setting spray too. So I guess we'll go ahead and move on to the next thing. I think what I'm gonna do next is brows because I'm looking a little bit bare. But what I'm going to do is use my Lottie London Arch Rival. This is the Microblade Effect pen. This I used to use like every single day, but then it was drying out. So I put it upside down in like my brush holder, and then I completely forgot about this for probably like 2 or 3 months. And I used to love this, so I'm really excited that I like found it in my brushes randomly, and it looks pretty juicy. So what I would used to do is just literally like go along the bottom and then like brush up and then just take my finger and like blend it out. I'm actually really liking how my makeup is coming out overall. And before we do eyes, I'm going to go ahead with my setting spray, and I'm going to be using the ABH or Anastasia Beverly Hills Dewy Setting Spray. I've used up an entire one of these, and then I don't know how well you'll be able to see, but I've used up to about here on this one. So I used that one up, repurchased this one, and then just like stopped using it, which is like a thing that I do. Like that happened the same thing with the Essence foundation. I used up an entire one. I was so upset I repurchased it, and then I barely touched this one because I find like new things that I like, and that's why sometimes repurchasing is a little bit better for me to just like hold off and wait on that. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with this, and if I remember, it really like melted all my powders together and made my skin look nice and glowy. So I'm gonna go ahead with this. Yeah, that you guys probably can't really tell the difference, but my skin looks so good. Especially looking in the mirror, like in real time, I think that it looks really, really nice. I just realized I never put my contacts in. I'm like, why can't I see anything? Let me do that first. So I'm dying that this is happening right now because after I put in my contacts and I'm looking closer, I'm definitely looking cakey. I'm like telling you guys that it looks really good, but it's kind of separating almost a little bit over here. My eyes are burning. And my under eyes looked very, very creased, or like just not even creased, just like crinkly, like wrinkly for whatever reason. But we'll see. Maybe once I do a little bit of eyeshadow, it'll kind of help with that. But for my eyeshadow palette, I'm going to be going in with the Tarte Clay Play Volume 2 Eye and Cheek palette. I used to bring this with me whenever I would go visit my boyfriend at school when he lived away at school. It was like my go-to thing to bring with me, and I actually really liked the eyeshadow. So unfortunately, my camera actually cut off when I was doing my eyeshadow, but I just kept it very simple. I just took this shade right over here called Journey, and I just put that all over my eye. I took a little bit, brushed it under the bottom, which I think definitely helped with the kind of creasy or like cakiness that I was noticing, because I think just getting a little bit of dimension and having it not be so stark white, I think because the concealer was a little bit too light, it definitely looks a lot better, so I'm happy with that. Now, I don't really have an old favorite for mascara because I have an old favorite that's still a current favorite, which is my L'Oreal Telescopic. So I'm just going to curl my eyelashes and apply this, and I'll be right back. So lashes are all done. I always love this mascara. It's an old favorite and a current favorite, like I said before. I also use the waterproof version, by the way, because I feel like it holds my shape a little bit better. Sorry again if you hear the puppy barking. That's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. And just a reminder, I also am doing a giveaway once I hit 300 subscribers, so check out the description of this video or my previous video. Follow my Instagram at @tagliente for more details as well, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!